All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Understanding Behavior live stream. We're here on Thursday night, little different time, but hopefully not too different. Thank you so much for showing up. We've got a really cool list of topics here today, so thank you to everybody who's contributed to that. Today, we're going to do a little bit mix of questions as well as looking at some of these topics. So I think we'll actually start with questions, if that works with you guys. What do you think? Should we start with questions? All right, I think we have too many topics now, but thank you guys so much for giving those. I think we're just gonna do maybe a 45 to 50-minute stream today. I'm not feeling too hot after a lot of travel and no sleep. We'll probably do about 50 minutes today. But let's get some questions in. Should we do questions first? What do you guys think? I like everybody getting their topics in. I think we're full right now once again, but come here early and you can get first dibs next week. We'll be back around the same time. Just before we start, little shout out. We've got a new course coming up. So this is the Tough Stuff mini course. We're going to go over schedules, basic and compound schedules, experimental design, and stimulus equivalence training. But before that, we have this course on February 10th, the Fundamentals of Behavior course. It's got killer reviews so far. In this one, we review basic contingency, stimulus discrimination, motivating operations. It's a 3-hour course on a Saturday. What I really like about it is that most of the responding is done in Zoom chat and private messages, so you can kind of like give your answers without having like too much influence from other students. And also I can privately message you back some feedback on your answers. So even though it's we can hold up to 20 students, 20 slots total, you still get a really personalized experience in both of these courses. So the fundamentals on February 10th, and then the tough stuff is going to be on February 17th. That's in the morning. Definitely check those out. And if you would like to receive the notes from tonight's session, go ahead and fill out the form that I posted above. And you can also find the link to the shop where both of those courses can be located as well. All right, enough with that. Let's check out some of the questions that have been posted on Instagram recently. So here we go. Number 53 here. Let's see if you guys can see this. Okay. If we can increase it. It looks like Instagram doesn't like it. Let's go with that. Okay, so every time Ray shouts, his mother yells at him to be quiet. A functional analysis confirmed that this attention is the primary reinforcement for this behavior. The best explanation for his shouting from a radical behaviorism perspective is what? Are other people able to hear? Okay, yeah, Tova, might be something on your end. Okay, cool. Awesome, glad everything's working. Please let me know if any of that changes. Well, let's check this question out. What do you guys think is the answer to this one? It looks like it's getting a little cut off. I apologize for that. Let me see if I can get this better for y'all. Let's try that. Cool. I like the answers in chat. Very cool. Jen, African Luxury Weddings. Tasia, good to see you here. Stephanie, good to see you here as well. Yeah, lots of great answers here. So this one is going to be C. When we talk about behavior and explanations for behavior, we always want to focus on the past consequences of behavior. That's going to relate to our law of effect, which says it's the past consequences of behavior or the effects of your behavior that determine the result of future behavior. So that's always going to be in the past here. Let's check these other ones out. So that word want, I know it's a really easy word to use, but this is a mentalistic term that should be used sparingly when we're trying to do technical behavior analysis. Next one here, because the behavior is being reinforced by attention. So this is tricky. It sounds kind of convincing, but the focus here is actually on the present or the future. So it's being reinforced currently, and that's why it's happening. But that doesn't focus on the past history of that behavior. And then last one, Ray is prompted by the environment to shout to receive attention. So we don't have enough information to confirm this, and there's not always prompts for this behavior like this. So cool, really nice job on that one. Let's check out another question. Let's do this one. So Rita often goes for a run after work. The time from when she is out of bed until she actually starts running varies each day. Which temporal dimension best describes this time period? All right. Looking good, crew. Nice job, Tasia, Abigail, Liddy. Good, Tina. Awesome, awesome. Looks great, everyone. So our answer here is going to be B, our latency. So the time from when she is out of bed, that's the presentation of a stimulus. So being out of bed is a stimulus. It's kind of tricky, like being out of bed is a stimulus, but getting out of bed is a behavior. So a little tricky there. That might have gotten a couple people to respond for inner response time. So being out of bed to the start of her running, that is our latency. So time from onset of a stimulus to beginning of a behavior. Awesome. Really nice job here, crew. How about we dig back in time a little bit, get one we haven't seen if you've been following along on Instagram in a while. Here's a 7 dimensions question. So we're not going to go into 7 dimensions today, but why not pull a question about it? Oh no, the answer is kind of covered up. Not really. If you can provide a rationale for your answer, that makes you like really stick out in the crowd. But more importantly, it makes that information stick better for you. All right, I'm liking where the answers are going. Does anybody want to try a rationale? Okay, cool. Yeah, like Letty PP and Daily M provide a rationale. Good. Yeah, African luxury weddings. I like where you're going there. Nice rationale. Yeah, Daily M, I like your direction too. This is awesome, guys. Perfect. Okay, so this one is going to be C, generality. So what we were focusing on here is that Hamad writes his programs to include additional practice after being mastered, and this is faded out over time. So this is something that we're trying to promote maintenance for. A lot of people got that term. High fives if you did. And then generality relates to maintenance and generalization. This one specifically talking about maintenance, but still fits under this category of the 7 dimension here. Very cool. Love it. Way to go, crew. How about we do one more? I'll try to find a cool one. Okay, yeah, let's check this one out. This one talks about functional analysis data. If you haven't seen, we did a whole day on functional analyses when Brian Iwata passed away. Really cool stuff if you need a little bit more work on those. So check this one out and see how you do. Also, while you're thinking about this one, it takes 2 seconds to smash that like button, but helps quite a bit. We've got 24 here, but 5 likes. Sorry to be that annoying YouTuber, but it really does help. Sorry, David. Let me get this a little bit more in frame here. I apologize. All right, thank you. Yeah, we got a few more likes now. All right, yeah, we got a lot of people saying B. Who wants to try some rationales? Okay, yeah, like Tina's providing a rationale. Oh, yeah, one person choosing C, African luxury weddings. Anybody want to, let's get some more rationales for this answer. Anybody else want to try rationale? Okay, yeah, Jen's bringing up an interesting point. All right, let's check this one out. Answer this one is actually going to be C. All right, yeah, a couple people coming in with that later here. I know it takes a strong will to break the pack here, but yeah, this one is going to be C. Yeah, I like Ash, what Ash said here. So Ash said, seeing as both escape and attention are higher than the other functions. Good. And not only are they higher than the other functions, but they're also higher than our play condition, which is our control condition. That's what we're making all of our data comparison to with our test condition. So we saw attention increase it by 4, escape increase it by 6. So we have both functions here, attention and escape. It's not just the highest one. Both of these are differentiated from play, which makes it a dual function instead of a single function. All right, nice job on those. What do you guys think about this? Do you guys like doing the Instagram questions at the start of the study hall? Is this fun, or would you guys rather keep doing topics and stuff? I'd like to get your opinions on that. Okay, cool. You guys like the questions? All right, cool. Yeah, I think we'll start making that a more regular thing. So we'll review some of the questions from Instagram at these live streams. Sweet. Cool. Awesome. I'm really glad you guys like that. Okay, well, how about we get into a few topics? So first of all, how to break down stimulus equivalence questions. So this is a really good question. So when we look at stimulus equivalence questions, so it's all about the triangle. And the cool thing about stimulus equivalence questions is that if you can get your information down accurately, the patterns are actually fairly easy to see and recognize. But there is like a big mess of that information. Cool. Yeah, I'm glad you guys like the questions. We'll definitely start doing more of those, at least like 15 minutes every session. I like that. Okay, so within these triangles, what we're looking for is you look for the derived relationships. So the hardest part is getting the information from the word problem to the triangle. Let me just check if my thing is aligned here. You see okay? Okay, yeah, I think we're okay. So yeah, the most difficult part is just getting that information from the word problem to the triangle. If you can do that, you can find these relationships pretty easily. So what we're going to look for is in a symmetry relationship. This is going to be a derived relation occurs that is opposite of a trained relation. So let's get a triangle here to show and demonstrate this. Let's draw that better. Let's go here. Okay, so let's say we have the word car, we have the spoken word car, so the first one is written, and then we have an actual car. Okay, so with symmetry, again, it's a derived relation that occurs as opposite of a trained relationship. So the way to look at these relationships is where the arrow starts is going to be the antecedent, and then where it heads is going to be the behavior. So this would be they see the written word car, and then they say car when we draw the line like this. So again, written word antecedent, vocal response. Symmetry would occur if the opposite relationship occurred without any training. So that would be if they heard the word car and then selected the word car. So that would be symmetry. It's just the opposite relationship. Transitivity. This is a derived relation that is formed from two other relations. So let's look at this one. Let's say we teach vocal word car is the object car. So now we have this the two legs of our triangle. Transitivity occurs when this third leg of the triangle is derived in either direction. So again, these patterns are fairly easy to see when you get the questions, or once you get your triangle down, because all you have to see is these two patterns. Is it opposite of a trained relationship, or is it two legs makes the third? So while we're here, I might as well give you a little quiz question. There's one more relationship that can be derived via symmetry. What is that relationship on this triangle? Put your knowledge to the test. So again, look at symmetry. It's opposite of a trained relationship. So this one's going to be symmetry still. All right, cool. Yeah, I see a couple correct answers here. All right, extra bonus cool points to Jen and Ash. So this one is going to be the actual car to the spoken word car. So what we saw is that we taught the opposite of that relationship. So we taught spoken word car to the picture of the car. So that opposite relationship would be derived via symmetry. So again, these are really the only two patterns that you want to look for. A lot of people are mentioning reflexivity, and I think that you may have just been misunderstanding that question. Reflexivity is a prerequisite, so symmetry and transitivity cannot occur unless we have generalized reflexivity. And essentially all that is being able to identity match, so being able to match the same stimulus to itself. Cool. So that's our very brief stimulus equivalence. We're going to move on to our next topic. We had a question about ethics questions. Breaking these down, there's not that many clear rules about it. I mean, really, the ethics code plus the Bailey and Birch book. I think it's Birch. I think these are really the best resources for ethics. So the ethics code, you'll find it's a little vague in some areas. So that's where the Bailey and Birch book becomes really handy. It gets more into those details, more about the examples and non-examples, and that can help you guide. As far as ethics questions, be prepared for questions that ask you about what category of ethics a particular code number belongs to. So, for example, you might get like multiple relationships, and then it might ask you to identify like which category does that go under. Is it like ethics of a professional? Is it ethics in research? Ethics of supervision? What category is that under? Uh, so yeah, be prepared for those types of questions would be my advice. And then a lot of it is just kind of like knowing the rules and being able to intuitively see them. So you need to get pretty familiar with the ethics code if you want to be successful on this. They also did in the 5th edition, like they upped ethics is a brand new section, and it's pretty hefty on questions. I believe there are 17 questions in ethics. So it's a fairly significant chunk of the exam. You should spend time with the ethics code. It might not be as easy as you think it is, but being familiar is going to help you be more prepared for those types of questions. Cool. Yeah, Jen will also be recommending like knowing those core principles. Absolutely. Okay, maybe I did underestimate how many topics we could take today. So we might have room for a bit more. I'll scroll up in a bit. Let's see. Let's talk next about level, trend, and variability. So these all relate to like visual analysis of graphs. So essentially, yeah, these are the different features of the data paths that we can analyze to see if things are working and make predictions about what will happen under certain conditions. So really, when we're trying to like identify experimental control, the most important of these is level. But let's go ahead and let's just pull up a graph or make a graph and talk about some of the features of it. So let's say we have, let's do something cool. Maybe we'll do like an ABAC design. So let's say we're working with a problem behavior. So here's our first data path that I'm going to give us. So we're working on a behavior targeted for reduction. Here is the second data path for phase B. We'll do back to baseline here. Let's say this one looks kind of like this. And then for C, let's say this one looks like this. So really wacky. All right. So let's get these terms down real fast. So the level, this is where the data path is on the y-axis. So essentially what you're going to look at is like your y-axis value. And usually this is calculated like an average y-axis value. It's often a mean, but can be a median sometimes. I'm not going to get into the details. It's usually just going to be a mean. And then what we're going to look at too is like ways to estimate these different features of the graph, or these different features of the data paths as well. So that's level, average of where those data points are on the y-axis. Our trend, this is the direction of the data path. So different trends, we have ascending, descending, and no trend. And then lastly, with variability, this is kind of tricky actually. This is like on average how and this might be a new way that you're learning this too, just heads up. So this is on average, how different are the data points from the trend line? So we'll draw that trend line and we'll kind of just like see like how different those things are. So how about we start, we'll do red marker for level. Let me get some values on here too. So let's just say this is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Okay, so first of all, let's go ahead and estimate the level. You can estimate the level, again, it's just the average, so you can estimate it by just kind of cutting through the middle of this. Where would you guys estimate the level is on, we're just looking at data path A right now. Give that a shot. Where would we estimate the level? It's going to be a single number. Cool. Yeah, Ash, thanks for being brave. I like where you're going. Yeah, Abigail, it looks good too. Cool. Yeah, there you go, Lenny. Anybody else want to give that a go? Rock on. You guys rule. Okay, so yeah, this is going to be somewhere around 12 to 13. So we see like low point is 5, high point is kind of 20, and then like these data points are kind of low. So yeah, we're gonna draw that somewhere around here. Is about that middle line there. Okay, what do we think about the level for B? Anybody else want to give that a go? African luxury wedding. It's kind of on the right track. Cool. Yeah, with my expert drawing of graphs on OneNote, I think we're gonna put this line somewhere around 3 to 4. It looks pretty good here. So this is kind of like weighted high. Maybe get that low higher up. Yeah, maybe a smidge higher there. But I think yeah, somewhere around 3 to 4 looks pretty good there for B. Okay, how about back to our baseline? What is the average level there? Sorry, hanging out with my friend's dog, and he's a little reactive sometimes. Duncan, no. I think it worked, guys. I think it worked. All right, I'm loving the answers so far. Thank you, Jen, Lenny, African Luxury Weddings, and Ash. All looks really good here. So somewhere in this 18 to 20 range. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, last one's really wacky. Who wants to give that one a shot? Positive punishment? Yeah, we didn't label what the treatments were here. All right, looking good, people. Way to go. Nice job, Abigail. The weddings, Tasia, Ash, Jen, killing it as always. Thank you so much for all of your participation. It means a lot. So yeah, we're gonna put this one somewhere around like the 10 to 12 range. All looks pretty good. So kind of just cut that line in the middle. So what's cool, Level is a really useful tool for seeing if we have experimental control. So the main thing that we're going to do is we're going to compare level between our conditions. So we see things work out really nicely here. Pretty effective intervention with B. We did not see as big of effect with intervention C. And what we also saw was that there was a lot of variability. So again, for variability, it's kind of weird. What we're going to be looking at is that the difference between the data points and the trend line. So this one had lots of difference between like these data points and the trend line. So this one would be called highly variable data. If we were to look at a different one, let's look at A, for example. Our trend line is going to be this blue line. We have a very smooth ascending pattern here. And then the variability is there really isn't any. So even though these are like different numbers, they're predictable. So if we have trending data, we're just going to predict that it's going to continue to trend until our data shows us otherwise. So it's predictable. So that actually is low variability, even though those things are kind of similar. Let's look at another one. So how would you guys describe the trend of condition B? So again, trends can be described as ascending, descending, or no trend. How would you guys describe the trend of condition B? Sweet. Love it. Yeah, you guys are absolutely killing it. Nice job, Ash, Tasia, Abigail. Good, Stephanie. Nice, Alexandria. Good to see you here. Nice. Yeah, Tina too. Killing it. Okay, so yeah, this is going to be descending trend. So on average, these data points are going downward as time progresses. Good. And then we have the level here. Variability, we have a little bit of variability here. So, we're going to draw the variability lines to our trend line. So most of these are kind of on that trend line, but we have one data point that's just kind of like off and weird there. So not much variability on that one. Let's look at our second A condition. What's the trend of our second A condition? Ooh, we got some people fast and confident here. Ooh, 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 ooh. Love it. Shout out to Jasmine, Tasia, Stephanie, good, Kelly too. Awesome. So yeah, Tina. Okay, yeah, there we go. So this one is going to be no trend. So yeah, blue line is going to be kind of similar to our level line actually. So on average, these data points don't move that much. This one have just like a tiny bit of variability, but honestly, like these data are fairly stable. They're pretty much on that line most of the time. If we look at RC, we see we talked about this one is highly variable. Those data points on average are very different from that trend line. But let's draw this trend line. We again have no trend. So kind of interesting, we have two different patterns of no trend. So this one is an example of no trend with low variability. And this one is an example of no trend with high variability though. So the data points are very different. So these are the tools that you use to analyze every data path on a line graph. So they're incredibly useful. Again, I think level is the most important for determining if we have experimental control. So really focus on that. But these other indicators can tell you more things, especially when you become a pro. Like you might notice that like, hey, if like the data is super variable, then I'm gonna like look at my like session data and see like, hey, does this align with like who is working with that client that day? If so, then we know that that's the difference, and we need to kind of iron some details out. Yeah, R. Castro is asking, can you receive the notes from this session? So yes, you may absolutely. All you have to do is fill out the form at the end of the session. Actually, you can fill it out now. There is the link once again for you if you'd like to receive the notes. Okay, I think I apologize. I think I forgot to send out the notes from last week, so I will catch up on that as well in the morning. Okay, let's talk about cumulative records now. So a cumulative record, this is essentially just a line graph that counts the total number of a measurement. So that word cumulative means our total number, and that's what the purpose of this graph. We often see this used when observing behavior under different schedules of reinforcement. And then it's also used to track the total amount of something. So a common clinical case where we would use that would be like total number of objectives or goals mastered. So it's kind of cool to see that graph, and yeah, it's fun to look at like their progress and like where things are going quickly, where things are going slowly, and they can provide some important information as well. Some other examples of like total amount of something, like Strava. I don't know if anybody is a cyclist here and uses Strava, but if you pay for the premium, I stopped paying for it because it like was kind of useless. But one cool feature that they do is that they provide you a cumulative record graph of like how many hours of activity you've engaged in, and then also like number of miles ridden. So like it would have been cool to see my graph for 2023. I think I put about 3,000 miles on my bike, so it would have been cool to kind of like look at that graph. So when analyzing a cumulative record graph, what you want to focus on the steepness of the slope. So if we have a steeper slope, that means faster responding is occurring. And then if we have a more gradual slope, that means slower responding is occurring. So, pay attention to like the different areas and of the cumulative record. Common exam questions, they might ask you about like local rate of responding versus like total rate of responding. So total rate kind of straightforward. You would just take like the total number of responses that occurred on the graph. Your local rate, you may have to do some more observation and calculations with this. So this is like how much behavior is occurring in a specific time frame. So on this graph, since we're looking at the total number of something, the graph never goes down. So like once you do something, like you did it, it's on there. It's a behavior recorded. It never goes away. So like I could get like negative miles on my Strava. They're not gonna take away my miles. Like, oh, you cheated or whatever. Like, no, I wrote them, bro. So the graph will never go down. So they may ask you about like the local rate of responding. In that case, what you might do, for example, it might ask you like how much behavior occurred between like day 15 and day 10. And what you would want to do is you would take the value, so take the value for day 15 minus the value for day 10 would equal your local rate. So yeah, pay attention to those kind of questions are fairly common. And then you really want to pay attention to how these relate to schedules of reinforcement as well. So knowing those different patterns of the 4 different basic schedules. So that's going to be fixed ratio, variable ratio, fixed interval, and then variable interval. Be very familiar with those, how those schedules are implemented and how that relates to that responding. If you're not familiar with that, there might be like a course coming up soon or something. Like it's called like the tough stuff. Yeah, there it is. You can sign up. It's on February 17th, $50. We're gonna talk about schedules, experimental design, and stimulus equivalence training. So there's my plug. I'm done. All right, let's make this last topic of the evening component and comparative analysis. Again, really appreciate all of you guys being here and for your support. Let's go over, so these are different types of experimental analyses. And these don't necessarily relate to any particular experimental design. So they could be done with a variety of designs, for example. So let's start with the component analysis. This is when we like break down, or sorry, we more like test which components are necessary to maintain intervention results with which components are necessary to maintain intervention results, and we do so by by eliminating components and tracking data. So, for example, let's say we have a treatment package that contains interventions A, B, C, and D to reduce aggression. So what we might do is our process, we would first eliminate one of the procedures. So let's say eliminate procedure D. Our question that we ask is like, did the level of the behavior change? If not, then keep that component out. And then if so, put that component back in. And then what we'll do is like we'll repeat the process to the rest of the components. For the rest of the components that we think may not be as relevant. So that's our component analysis. We're just tearing apart this treatment package, seeing like, do we need this? Nope, trash it. If we do, we'll throw it back in. Let's see if we can eliminate other things. That's component analysis. Now let's compare that to our comparative analysis. This is an analysis that compares the effects of two different treatments. This is often a comparison made with baseline. So yeah, we'll compare like kind of like the functional analysis. We'll see like, how does intervention 1 compare with baseline? How does intervention 2 compare with baseline? And then we'll see like the different effects with each other for our analysis. So very common, very commonly done. We can do this in a withdrawal design. We can do it in an alternating treatment design. Whatever floats your boat there. Alrighty, well, we are gonna wrap up for tonight. If you haven't liked the video yet, go ahead and throw that on real quick. It helps me a lot. If you're new here, thank you so much for coming and checking it out. We'll be back next week, so I hope to see you there. And if you have some friends that might be interested in this, definitely share them and let them know. If you would like to receive the notes, go ahead and check out that form on there, real quick and easy, and I will send you the notes tomorrow. Thank you guys. I'm glad you enjoyed session. And yeah, stay tuned on all of the Understanding Behavior social media. You can find them on my link tree that I will post the link to right now. And again, thank you so much for all of your support. You guys really help me keep me going. And happy studying, and I hope to see you next week. Take care.